Here's why you get a chimney cap. Little mass bandit down at the end of a chimney. We're going to throw down some sheets, and had it happen before. Throw down some sheets, they climb out. And we'll put a chimney cap on here in the morning. Hey everybody, welcome back to Groundhog's Garage. I've got another installment for you. I am of the belief that you can make a wheel bearing last forever, and I'm going to do an experiment. I've done this once already, but somebody suggested that the next time I get a bad wheel bearing to put the grease fitting in it and then take it apart so we can see where the grease goes. So my daily driver, my 2005 Tahoe, had a bad front left wheel bearing. So I've taken out both the front left and the front right, and I'm going to do the front left so that we can take it apart after I put the grease fitting in it and pump it full of grease so we can see where the grease goes. And the other one, it's still the original wheel bearing, and you guys know, just like headlights, one side goes, the other side's not too far behind. So it'll be interesting to see if we grease up the good one, the one that hasn't gone bad yet, how much longer it lasts. So my truck's got about 130 some thousand miles on it now. So great experiment. I've got a new wheel bearing, but I think I'm going to hold off because, now let me show you why. My truck's a two-wheel drive, so I don't have the cap is different behind the wheel bearing. So here, let me show you. So on a two-wheel drive, it's got a cap like this on the back, and obviously with a four-wheel drive, it's just got the seal back here so the drive shaft can go through the bearing. Now I think, and we'll find out when we take it apart, that I'll probably be able to just stick a grease fitting right here, because there's plenty of room behind the spindle. Put a grease fitting back here and work the grease this way. And since I've drilled one of these before, I know there's about an inch of steel here, or iron, or whatever it is, but it's a little bit of work. So I think it'll be interesting to see, because you know, usually front wheel drive cars, your back wheel bearings are going to have this cap on it too, and I think you're going to be able to just to put a grease fitting in here and pump it with some grease every once in a while. So let's get started. And I got my drill press here. So I tried this once with a drill, and that was a fiasco. It takes forever. So we're going to do this on a drill press. I actually finished my first one on a drill press because it was taking forever. So I got some fresh drill bits, and once I get set up here, we'll get going. So do you see that protrusion right there? There's three of those. There are three bosses, so that's where your grease fitting goes in on the other side, and I'm going to drill through that. And this is the bad one. I knocked the stud out of it, so I knew for sure it didn't get them mixed up, although it's pretty crunchy. So okay, I'm not going to lie, that went really easy. So, interesting thing here. When I did this the last time, I bought an Irwin drill and tap kit. And this time I went to Home Depot and bought some Milwaukee drill bits. And that thing went through there like butter. It is about an inch thick, but if it's that easy, I'm going to drill the new one too. So that's one down. And I've got the drill press set up for 690 RPM, according to the chart up there, for high strength steel and steel. So Here we go. Just so you know. Now this is a good one. It's got all the studs on it. And I'm going to go get the new one. It's my brand new Timken one. Just in case you think I'm doing some digital video trickery. What a nice boss. And again, I can't stress to you how much different this drill bit is going through the steel than the last time I did it. The last time I did it, I used a drill, I used a Milwaukee drill, just regular drill, and I pressed on that thing for so long, I was sore the next day. So, it was either the world's worst drill bit, these are really good drill bits, these are really good drill bits, the other one must have been dull, or maybe I just got it, it was going too fast with the drill and hardened the steel and it just made it worse. So anyway, here we go. So of course I haven't touched bottom yet, so let's move this drill bit just down here. Chuck is starting to hit the plate here. We're through. Alright, let's head back out to the truck. We'll put the grease fittings in and we'll install them back in the truck, and then we'll take the one bad one apart after I grease it so you guys can see where the grease actually goes. And just in case there's some doubting Dannies out there, there's the right front. And there's the left front. This was the bad side. So let's get the wheel bearings out and start putting this thing back together. Maybe I took the speed sensor out. Now this is why I put the grease fitting on, because if you're trying to do this by just injecting grease in here, what happens is when you get an applicator pen or whatever you use as a fitting on your grease gun, once some grease covers that hole down at the bottom, there's nowhere for the air to go, and you can't get any grease in there. So you drill a hole, and that's why you put a grease fitting on there, so it has the grease and the air has somewhere to go. So I'm going to try to do this while let's see how many hands it takes to do this. I think I'm ready. So here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's a lot of grease. I'm going to turn this, and you should be able to see it. I need an assistant. There it is. So now you can see the grease in there. But I'm going to pump a little bit more in there, because there's clearly nothing in there. That's what color my grease is, that dark brown. I think that's good. I can even feel there's more tension now than there was before. So let's put the speed sensor back on. And this takes a 4.5 millimeter Allen wrench, which isn't exactly, can't go down to your local Home Depot and find that. Well, I guess you can, but they're not just anywhere. Alright, so this is the passenger side. This is the good bearing with 135,000 miles on it. Freshly greased. And I'm going to put this one back in the car. And if something happens to it, I'll keep you up to date. If nothing happens to it, nothing happens to it. Check in with me if you like. I'll let you know. And really, if you don't want that grease fitting on there, you could just do this and then take this off, and they make caps that go over, that'll plug in where your grease fitting is. So just another thought. If you're going to go through all this, because honestly, you won't have to do this very often. This is the Timken bearing, brand new. I need to tap that out, and we'll put a grease fitting on that and do the same thing we just did to the other one. Then I'm going to set that aside. Nothing really to see here. For the record, it took 6 pumps on this one before the grease started showing up through the speed sensor hole. And I forget how many I was up on the other one, 14 or something. So significant difference about how much grease is in this one compared to the one that has 130K. So it goes to show you, at least where we're at right now, it isn't the bearing that goes bad, it's that there's no grease in it. And these should last forever unless something was built wrong. So anyway, I'm going to get the third one, which is the bad one. We'll put a grease fitting on it, and then we'll pump it with grease and then take that cap off so we can look inside of it. I put this on here just so I could keep track of it. I'll shoot that with some clear, and it should last as long as I need it to, I guess. Okay, so I've got that. I got the grease fitting in. I've got the speed sensor out. This is the bad bearing. This thing's off just about already, so let's do this. Let's put a couple pumps in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be plenty. I'm not going to turn it. That's easy enough. I think the only way I'm going to be able to, because it looks like this is pressed into the bearing, this cap here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pump this, and you're going to see grease come out right here. So this is pressed into the bearing. I'm not going to be able to get that apart. I'll try, because I'd like you to see where this thing comes in through here. But I'm going to pump grease in here, and you're going to see grease come through this bearing here. Here it comes. See how that gets pushed out to the bearing? And the same thing is happening to the front, because the grease has someplace to go, because the speed sensor's out, which allows the air out. And like I said, this is two pieces. You got a bearing. You got a bearing on the back side, and you got the split in the middle where the reluctor ring is, and then you got a bearing. Come on, focus. And then you got a bearing on the inside. So if you do this once in a while, and it wouldn't have to be very often, your bearings could technically, unless it had just a failure of a seal or something, they should last forever, or at least as long as you own your car. And before, when I did my first one and I tried drilling the hole by hand, I seriously questioned if it was worth it, because I'm not kidding you. I spent an hour with that thing, and I was sore the next day. But this time, starting with a fresh drill bit and using the drill press, it took, what, a couple minutes each one? Doing it that way? Oh yeah, definitely. This is something to do. Because if you're like, and I don't know, maybe not everybody's like me, but I never have as much luck with the aftermarket. Timkins haven't been too bad, but when I've been unfortunate enough to have to use the Chinese ones, those things only last 20 or 30,000 miles. So if you can make your OEM ones last, and this, you got the tools at home to do it, why wouldn't you? I think that pretty much shows you what my thesis was, my theory was, and it's definitely true. So anyway, if you got the tools, give it a shot, see how it works. Go down below, leave me some comments, let me know what you think, because honestly, any front wheel drive, you got these rear wheel bearings like this, you know, they're probably not that expensive, but they're not as cheap as a Zerk fitting. So subscribe, and you can keep up on what, like my other bearing, my passenger side, how much longer it lasts. In case something happens, you get to see what that's all about. So glad you came along. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe. Love to have you come back. Got some other things in the works. And like the video and share it with your friends. Share it with your fellow mechanics. See what they think. And let me know. If nothing else, let's talk about it. But anyway, have a great day. Stay safe out there, and we'll talk to you later.